Luca and I love going on weekend adventures. One of our latest trips was to Anza-Borrego State Park, about a 3-hour drive south of Los Angeles. This area was absolutely amazing. We had initially set out in search of the super bloom, but what we found was so much more spectacular. Come join us on Luca's travel adventure. Our first stop as we entered the town of Borrego Springs was changing into some cooler clothes because even in February it was quite warm, and then checking out the Goleta Meadows sculptures. Along Borrego Springs Road, there are over 130 metal sculptures just sprinkled across the desert. Entrance to see the sculptures is free, but it does require you to drive off-road. Our first adventure is to see the statues in the desert. Ooh, we found our first flowers. You do have to be a little careful. The roads are pretty dusty, but you can definitely get out and explore. These sculptures span creatures from horses to dinosaurs to this famous dragon, which is located north of Christmas Circle. Luca had a great time running from sculpture to sculpture and checking everything out. I do want to warn you not to forget that these sculptures are out in the middle of the desert with all the dangers that come with it. Unfortunately, we learned that the hard way when Luca got a little too close to one of the cactuses. Ooh, he was super brave though and let me take out all the thorns. We will definitely keep our guard up in the future. Our next stop was checking out the Slot Canyon. I actually had no idea there were slot canyons in California, but this is by far the highlight of our trip, so you do not want to miss it.
Mommy, this could be a landslide.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
No.
Me either.
Mommy, do you know what ice castle is?
Tight one.
Mommy, watch out for that.
Oh, thanks.
It keeps going and going.
The Slot Canyon is a fairly easy there and back hike of about 1 mile, although certain portions start to get pretty narrow, which was very exciting for Luca to find all the small little caves, and he was the perfect size to fit in. It was a little harder for me, but so much fun to go exploring, both on the way there and on the way back. Oh my god.
Mommy, the cave gets bigger. Remember that?
I do. The scenery here was absolutely spectacular. It reminded me of being on some other planet or on being the set of the new Star Wars movie. Very, very cool. You don't want to miss this spot. Our last stop for the day was to go and search for the super bloom, which is found on Henderson Canyon Road. At the time we were there in February of 2023, the wildflowers had just started going into bloom.
The tornado, Mommy. The tornado. It looks like a tornado, Mommy.
Although this was probably the most overhyped and overrated part of being in Anza-Borrego, it was still gorgeous to see all the beautiful colors and just see this blooming out in nature. After an exciting first day of adventures, we checked into our hotel, which was the La Casa del Zorro Resort. What do you think about our hotel?
It's good.
It's good. Look how beautiful this one is. This is called the Ocotillo. But be very careful.
Oh, I can see the pool right there.
This hotel had beautiful architecture and landscaping and was just really nice. So if you are looking for a special place to stay while in Anza-Borrego, I would highly recommend it. We had a great time the following morning going and checking out the pool and then getting ready for our next full day of adventures. Just a short drive from our hotel, we headed to our next destination for the day, which was the Palm Canyon Trail. This is a 3.25 mile loop, which is fairly easy with definitely a view at the end that is worth finishing the entire hike for. One of the things the hike is known for is being able to spot bighorn sheep, which we actually saw, which was really cool off in the distance. There are some portions where you need to cross the water, which Luca had fun doing.
Very pretty.
In all, during the hike, you ascend about 450 feet, with the last portion of the hike being a little bit more difficult, with some spots where I kind of had to lift Luca up, but he did great overall, and we didn't have any problems completing the full 3.25 miles.
Oh my gosh, Luca, what did I ask? I said don't get your shoes wet, and what happened? You did.
It's so windy. In all, it was an awesome hike that is definitely worthwhile and should be added to your list when you're in Anza-Borrego. Just bring lots of water, because as you can tell, there really isn't much shade going on. So luckily we picked kind of a windy day, so we were able to stay cool, but bring your sunscreen and your water bottles. After a long morning of hiking, we drove to get some food, which the local area actually has some great food spots that you can check out, and headed towards our last destination, which is Fonts Point. Be careful not to miss the turnoff for the road, and make sure that you are coming in a four-wheel drive. As you can tell, getting to Fonts Point requires about a 4-mile drive on this dusty, sandy road, and if you don't have the right type of car, you could definitely run into lots of trouble, and there's unfortunately no cell phone service out there. The drive is absolutely worth it to be able to see this view.
Wow.
The best time of day is to visit here at either sunrise or sunset, and you will get these spectacular views of the Badlands and these desert landscapes. Again, this was absolutely surreal. What an amazing place to come and see.